And it says we are live, Ramon. Are we live?
Yeah.
Are we part of the living?
Are we part of the living dead?
Are we part of the living dead? Yes. I think in a sense we all are. But with that being said, we are here to talk spoiler talk for Halloween Kills.
Mikey.
Yes, we did I did a spoiler-free review. You did your reaction to it, which was fun to watch, by the way. You had your sister
Cheers.
on.
Yeah, that was funny.
Did you have to force her to come on?
Yeah.
All
She
right.
didn't want to do it. Yeah, she was like,
I
"Well, I
kind of
thought we were just going to watch it," and I was like, "No, I want to scare
yeah.
the crap out of you."
When you were like, she forced me to do this with her, and
Yeah, you did. Oh, you
when
picked
you were
that
doing
up.
that when you were doing that spiel, I'm like, oh, I know that bit.
He's full of crap. Yeah.
I know that bit.
She hates
Ramon.
horror movies. Terrify my sister, but she was great. She was just cool. Yeah.
That's cool, man. Yeah, she definitely played along, and that was fun. You should have her back. Tell her you
Yeah,
have a
that's what I've already
yeah,
said that to her because her biggest fear is the Scream franchise, and what a time for you know,
right.
So that's out in January. So I'm gonna try and do a sneaky one. I'm gonna say to her, "There's a new Shrek movie," so like get one for like, "Oh look, I've got the new Shrek movie."
You can only do so many of those before she catches on, right? All right, Ramon, are you ready to talk about Halloween Kills?
I am indeed.
All right, well, let's start this. Well, I'll do the intro real quick in 3, 2, 1. Fun fact, Ramon recorded that scream for that bit. So thank you, Ramon. I
That's
appreciate
all right. It's not a problem, man. I was just pulling out my chest hair.
Yeah, and so in case anybody doesn't know, this is a spoiler talk. I will bring this up at the bottom. Halloween Kills spoiler talk, and we also have the little spoiler reminder up in the corner over here above Ramon. So let's jump into what we like about this movie, because I actually there's a lot to like about this film, and since I already kind of did my review, do you mind taking the helm on this one there, Ramon?
What you'd like to know what I like most about it? The good
Yeah.
things about it? I'd say, I think in general, I think with this review or spoiler chat and everything that, like I said to you prior, that it might sound like I'm kind of hating on the movie, which it isn't. It's only because when we talk about these movies, it's only because we're so passionate about these movies. So I want to get that out of the way, because if I say things and it might come across like I hated the movie, it's only because I want what's best for Halloween, in
Right.
my own opinion. But what did I love? I thought the music of the film was fantastic, which we were speaking about. I think it was just wonderful. It reminded me a lot of the first one. I think the cinematography was fantastic. I think a lot of the cast were really, really well picked as well. I'm glad they got a lot of the kid characters now that they're adults and stuff. I like that angle that they went with it.
Oh yeah, having them revisit, and it that did add a lot to the story, I
Yeah,
believe.
yeah. It's just, again, for nostalgia reasons, I just quite like that. And I thought this version of Michael Myers was probably, I wouldn't say the best. Obviously, the original's the best, but I think he's definitely one of the best versions of
Like
Michael Myers we've ever seen. It just felt right. It felt real. It felt like this is a real There was no doubt, like there was no point throughout the entire movie where I was like, like some of the movies you think Mikey wouldn't. That's not. He don't do that, or there was none of that. It was like he's just cold, brutal.
yeah.
I thought this version of Michael was fantastic. Really, really did. Really did.
Absolutely. What do you think about him compared to Rob Zombie's Michael Myers?
Do you know, I think I'm not, this might upset people. I think they're very, very similar in terms of their brutality and how cold they are. I think they
Yeah.
were very, very similar in tone. Because again, when I was watching this new one, I was thinking about the Rob Zombie one a little bit, because like Rob Zombie does that grittiness, even like with that picture, that Myers picture you're showing. It's so gritty and raw. It's not
Yeah.
clean. It's dirty. It's filthy. That's kind of in the vein of the zombie movies, and yeah, in comparison, I really don't know. I think this one might be better because it was just cold. There was no feeling, no emotion, just pure
Just pure
evil, pure
psychopath.
pure pure evil, psychopath.
Yeah,
Yeah,
pure evil. Yeah,
yeah,
that's it. Yeah, I agree with you, man. I really enjoyed this Michael Myers. The way they're paving this story to go is got my interest peaked, because it's obviously they're dismissing every movie after the first one, and the one that came out in 2018 is supposed to be a direct sequel to that first film. Michael Myers has not killed in like 40 years. He's been in that prison or the mental hospital, and then the 2018 movie happened, and now we're seeing the results of that. Um, and I one thing that I really enjoyed what is the fact that they're changing that mythology. They're taking that Laurie Strode storyline and they're putting her in the back burner a little bit, because her entire integrity is, I have to kill him. I'm the only one that can kill him. I'm the
yeah,
only one prepared for this, and the movie's like it's changing, it's putting up it's turning itself on its head, like saying, hey, actually, no, Lori, you're not. This has actually nothing to do with you. You just happen to be the babysitter that night. So I'm glad they
yeah,
got rid of
yeah.
that sister storyline.
So just that's kind of this is another thing I need to sort of before we jump forward then. Right.
Yeah,
So now does this mean she's just some random girl?
yeah, yep. She's just the babysitter.
And the only reason she was brought back in is because they went to interview her in the 2018 version, which is why she's back in the picture. That's the only reason.
Yeah, and well, she's been prepared for this because she thinks it's a personal attack on herself.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
but in order for them to go where they're wanting to go with this story, they had to sever that connection. That was something that I believe John Carpenter himself was not happy with. He was not happy he made Laurie Strode the sister because the fear of Michael Myers is it doesn't matter who you are.
mm,
He's the boogeyman. He's the man that will show up in the suburbs and just take people out without any mind behind it, without any emotional attachments or anything. He is what he is. So them severing that sister storyline makes sense to where this director wants to take Myers.
yeah. I think I'm in two minds of it because I've always known that story with Laurie Strode, and it's always been Michael and Laurie kind of thing. It's difficult for me to switch that out in my brain when I watch the movies, but it's not so much of a thing that's going to distracts me from enjoying it. That's not going to put me off because if she's still there, it doesn't really matter if it's the sister or not. Like you say, he's just a psychopathic killer. But it's just that I like Jamie Lee Curtis in these movies, and like even though she was on the back burner in this movie, it didn't really bother me. It wasn't something consciously where I'm like, oh my god, it wasn't something that bothered me as such. Because what the time she did get on screen, she just did her thing, and I was just like, "Yeah, that's my girl." Like,
Right.
so I'm quite happy with that element and direction that it took. It doesn't really bother me, to be honest.
Oh no, that's again, that's one reason. One of the things that I like about this movie is the new direction that they're taking. I think it's ballsy, for them to change the mythology behind Myers, but they're not only changing the mythology, but they're doing so with the original, like jump starting from the first movie.
Yeah,
It's not a complete reboot, it's a continuation, and that's what I really like about it. You got Rob Zombie's Halloween, which I am a huge fan of.
same.
But that was a copy and paste, not copy and paste, but it was a
It was
reboot.
the yeah, 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 yeah,
He could
yeah,
retell that story in the way that he's always seen it and dive deeper. And like I said, it's more of a character study when it comes to the Rob Zombie version. But this one, going off of the first movie and 40 years later into these movies, and then changing, reconning all these things that we've seen and known for the past 40 years with Michael Myers, they're changing that, and I totally dig that. And another thing that I really liked about this film and how they were able to change this mythology was when they went back to the 1978 setting. You know what I mean? You
I
got
thought that
Loomis.
looks
They
so.
they showed Loomis, like, and like I couldn't, like, I was so confused for a little bit because again, I've never been a huge, Michael Myers fan, Rob
Oh,
Zombie's what.
mate, I was honest, sorry to cut in, bro. I was
Oh, yeah.
and you seeing the thing, because we do all these reaction guys with our headphones on, we like we were saying before, we you really do hear everything, and I suggest anyone that watches horror movies, I know I'm gonna sort of sidetrack a second. Anyone that watches horror movies and enjoys them, please, please, please do what we do when we're watching movies. Use your headphones and watch it like that because you literally hear everything.
Yep.
And you're so, I think with horror movies, you have to be immersed in order to appreciate a proper horror movie rather than all the lights are on and you don't get that, you don't get into it. And with Halloween, when we were doing the reaction, I was sitting here with my sister and I just heard in the background, Michael, he's here. And I was like, holy crap, that's Donald Pleasance, that's Loomis. I'm thinking, and then I stopped a second, I'm like, but he's the actor's passed away. How are they gonna?
Right.
I thought they would just, and then it showed him getting out of a police car, but it showed his feet. So I thought, oh, they're just gonna do that. And I thought, I'm cool with that. But when it showed the top of the stairs, and then it showed him, is he here? Has he
Did
killed someone? And I was like,
did Michael kill again? Did
yeah, and
Michael
I was
kill
like,
again?
how the heck did they do that? Because I thought it was old footage updated, and it wasn't.
Right.
It's another actor, and it's visuals now. Oh, incredible! But they
Yeah,
done
that's what I was leading up to, like, me
amazing.
me not being a huge, Halloween fan, I was wondering for a moment here, like, is this lost footage? Is this something that, like,
That's, yeah, that's kind of what
they
I
took out of the
thought.
movie? But they did such a good job
Yeah,
weaving that into that film, like, it was and it added to the storyline that they're continuing now. The storyline of replacing, Michael Myers' obsession not with Laurie Strode, but with his house, this childhood
yeah,
house.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And I did. I kind of praised the. I think I said it on the video. I kind of praised the team, like the makeup or the team behind the visuals, because I was like you. I was like, I thought it was. Maybe it's just footage from the floor that they've picked up. Gone, oh look, we've got this footage, and we've just. It looked so good, but I think another thing I'll say about that is they done just enough. They didn't put him in it and then go, "Oh, we're going to use him throughout the movie in bits." And they done just enough to go, "Here's a little taster of something." That's it. And it was perfect. I was like a little kid watching that scene. I was just, and it was nice to give that little nod to Donald Pleasance as well, because I think Dr. Loomis is such a special character in
Yeah.
Halloween. Like Laurie Strode, there's such iconic characters. Just to put that little sprinkle in there, I thought was really, really good. I really appreciated it. Definitely.
Very definitely a good tip of the hat, the way to bring
Yeah,
him
that's
back
it.
in, and also add to the new mythology of, Michael Myers. Um, and is there something else you wanted to say about what you like about this movie that
Um,
we can jump off of, or
I suppose, yeah, like I said, I think like I said, the music I just thought was done so well. I think there was a lot of influence from the 78 version with a lot of those like retro synths and stuff like that. I think near the
yeah.
beginning, there's the part where I think was it Tommy who falls on the floor. I can't remember who it was. There's someone who falls on the floor in the
Yeah,
beginning.
I believe that was Tommy, yeah.
Yeah, the music that comes in there is from the original film. I forgot which part, what song it is, but it's basically, yeah. There's a part. It's not the main piano theme, but there's like that ding ding, like you said, Psycho,
Yeah, yeah,
ding ding ding
like a
ding,
razor blade on a violin.
kind of thing. Yeah, and that was
Yeah.
used, I think, in the end of the first one or part two. It was used in, and that was just another thing I weren't expecting. I was like, holy crap, that sounds like the old one. And it again, yeah, is the music and sound design of the movie in general, I thought was incredible.
Yeah, I agree with you. Like, it's one thing that did stick out because when you watch so many Halloween movies, it can become kind of ambient,
Yeah,
noise,
yeah.
But then this one stuck it out a lot more. So I definitely am on the same page. Another thing that stuck out to me, which I mean stuck out to everybody, but like the new mask, but it's still the same mask, but the evolution of the mask. He's as I said in my review, he's got this two-faced treatment now. He's got the burnt side
Mm,
of him. And also, like I said in my review, I give a shout out to Rob Zombie's Halloween for being the first one to kind of do that disturbing looking mask, that aged, distressed look
yeah.
on top. But then they went to a different level and added,
I think
actual
I think
uh,
in the nicest way
scars to it.
possible, the mask looked like crap, but in the way that it's meant to, like it's worn and it's like you say,
Yeah.
burn, and it's Yeah, it was just fantastic. And again, I think that part, that going back to the 78, when he first runs in and it's got the police officer by the window, nothing ever happens in Haddonfield, and then he comes running through the door. That that was so, not just the jump scare, but that was so, I just thought it looked perfect. It looked like the 1978 Michael. It was like the mask was really well done. The hair, the suit, everything looked so well, because we've had so many different versions of Michael Myers, and I think everyone's got their own qualities, but that was the closest I've seen to the original. Like again, like it's that same thing. It looked like it was footage of something else, but it weren't. And
Right.
again, I commend the people behind, the makeup and wardrobe for getting it so like bloody accurate. I thought it was,
Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
really good.
And then adding that evolution to it. That's what this movie is to me. It's a huge step in evolution for what we know Michael Myers to be. That's why I'm really excited to see what the next movie will be, and we'll get into that a little bit later. Our expectations for
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
but this movie is I don't know. It's a bridge. It's a bridge to something greater. I think. Um, so yeah, that I really enjoy that storyline. I mean, the storyline in this movie it's pretty okay, but I do put it on what I like because I like where they're trying to go with the townspeople, the mob mentality. This also this is more of what I'm on the fence about, but well, I don't know. I don't know if I should talk. Well, whatever. We'll just bring it up. Um, it, it I like the fact that they're trying to illustrate exactly what Michael has done to this community. Not just Laurie Strode being the PTSD victim, slash sister over the years, just trying to move forward with her life. This whole town has been built on this fucking. It's almost a secret now. Like they just want it buried. They don't
Yeah,
even want to
yeah.
talk about it anymore. Laurie Strode is the crazy cat lady that lives out just outside of the city walls.
I just love her. I love her so much.
And it's all just something that nobody wants to talk about. Nobody wants to discuss it. And then boom, he's here. They're all scared, and they just create this mob, and almost with pitchforks, and fire sticks, and they're just out on a manhunt. And I love that aspect. I love that one man can affect a town so much. So
You
that's definitely on what I like.
you said something just now about coming to a bridge, and I was gonna sort of jump in, and that's another thing that I liked. There was the scene with, I forgot her name, Diane or Lily or something like that, and when they're in the park and he's chasing her and he walks across the bridge.
Oh yeah,
That scene, that for me probably, I wouldn't say it was the scariest scene, but I think it's one of the best scenes, because simply because he chases her and the camera's just kind of on him, on her, on him, on her, and then it's just that. I wish the movie had more of that, genuinely, because that's kind of the same feeling I had with the very original. That you don't need to move fast, you don't need to go crazy. All you need is him breathing and just looking around, and it's that fear of you standing behind the corner. Is he going to see me? Is he going to see me? And that scared the crap out of me when she was behind the tree. I was waiting for him. I was waiting
right.
for him to, and he didn't. And that's what made it so tense. And I wish there was a few more bits like that in it. But that's wonderful,
Yeah, it,
wonderful.
it was definitely a very intense moment.
My
She
sister was terrified at that part.
Oh man,
The sister was just like, because you're just waiting for the jump. You're waiting, and because it doesn't come, and you hear him walking across the bridge in the background, you're like, is that really him, or is it someone else? And he's still gonna. And I love that. I love that.
yeah, she got away. Like she's
Yeah, she
a
did
Michael Myers survivor.
so
Yeah,
far.
so far, right. There's still another one coming out.
Yeah.
All right. Ramon, is there anything else you want to bring up on what you like about this movie?
Um, I liked. It was a small scene, but one of the scenes I really enjoyed was a hospital scene with, I forgot the guy's name, the cop who we thought was dead, but
Right.
wasn't. I forgot
Yeah.
his name now. And there was the scene where he was in bed and Laurie was saying stuff, and I don't know what she was saying. There was like, it was
Yeah,
kind of a sentimental,
yeah,
like an
she was
emotional
talking about
scene.
like that night that like I guess he
He
asked her out
rescued
on
her
a
and
date or
oh,
something
that
like
was it.
that.
That was it. That was it.
Yeah, and she said, I forget exactly what she said, but it's something along the lines of, I actually always have liked you, assuming
It
that he
was
was.
something like it was just but it was just like a little scene between the characters, like
Yeah.
away from the movie, and I just thought I like that scene. That was a nice little scene to just. I don't know. It's little bits like that that kind of stand out for me. And I thought, yeah, man, I really like that scene. And then it just kind of went back to the movie, but I was like, yeah, we had a nice little moment for those two characters, so I quite enjoyed that as well.
Well, and also just that character himself, that police officer, like him being like feeling like he blames himself,
Yeah, yeah, that's right,
for
that's right.
like he's almost in the same shoes without the extreme paranoia as Laurie Strode, because he thinks this is his fault, just like Laurie thinks it's her fault, just like Tommy thinks it's his fault, just like all these people think it's in one way or another it's their fault for not doing something more. You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
definitely, definitely.
So, all right, let's see. Let's jump onto some of our mixed aspects here. What we're on the fence about. Some things that are questionable. Yeah. So, like, okay, I'm going to come out of the gate because this is going to be on a lot of people's like hate list, and to me, I'm in the middle road about it, and I've said it to you probably 5 or 6 times by now. But it's that going back to that mob mentality, and they have this subplot in the middle of this movie, about the time that the movie's tone kind of changes when they're in the hospital, and they think that the guy and the crazy guy in the gown is Michael Myers. That's Michael Myers without his mask, and which has a whole bunch of problems with it, but I'm not going to dive into that.
Mm,
But the concept of these scared townspeople just chasing this man, and eventually it becomes they become Michael Myers themselves. This innocent man died
mm.
because of them hunting him down. Oh, we have a Facebook user. Facebook user. I wasn't impressed. Almost no memorable lines from Michael Myers. We were being trolled. Facebook user. If you want to identify yourself, Facebook user, on the link, if you're watching for Facebook, at the bottom of the link, it says to grant permission to show your name on our live stream, you just got to click that button. Then we'll be able to see who you
He
are.
didn't. He didn't have memorable lines, but he did do the.
Right.
He did
Yeah,
the.
he did the head tilt. He did the head
That's
tilt.
as close as we're gonna get with Myers, mate.
Right. His dialogue wasn't there, but his body language was on point.
That's one thing I think he's famous for, and it's every horror villain and character. I don't think Jason does it. I don't think he copied it, but I think every other you just see it even in just serial killer movies, everyone. Anytime there's a kill, you always have someone do like a small head tilt thing, and you think that's a Michael Myers trait.
Yeah.
It's
It's
like a
trademark.
classic. It's that's it, trademark. Yeah, it's a classic Michael thing. Sorry, but you was talking about the mob.
Yeah, the mob scene. So like what the reason why I'm on the fence about it is that number one, this subplot of the mob chasing, the wrong guy as Michael Myers, it was just so quickly done. There was no real build up to it.
Yep.
Um and it was just hit, done, and over. And they just became so redundant in this spot. Evil dies tonight. Evil dies tonight. Like, we get it. We understand what you're trying to get across here. Maybe if you would have like had that mentality through the whole movie,
Yeah.
you could have led
It's
up to that. But no, it was just so quick and fast just to get to the point of the dude jumps out the window and kills himself, basically to get away from this mob, essentially making the mob, putting them in Michael Myers' shoes.
I think that's what you've just summed up everything I feel about the film. I think, like I've expressed to you before, that I I love this movie and I hate the movie. I don't hate the movie. I love it and I've got issues with it. And it's at that exact moment. And I think when I said I hated it, you was like the way you explain things. I don't think it is that I hate it. It's that I don't think it was executed the right
Yeah,
way. I think that's
yeah, it
the.
was poorly executed.
Yeah. I think I
Great
get.
concept, poorly
Yeah,
executed.
yeah, yeah. I think that's what it is. I think anything can work. You're right. Anything can work if it's done right. And like initially, when he was in the bar room, Tommy, and he was on the stage and Evil Dies Tonight, I was like, "Yo, that's wicked!" Like that's a callback to like Dr. Loomis is always saying,
Yeah.
"Michael, he's pure
Pure
evil. I shot
evil.
him 6 times. He shot
These
6
eyes,
times."
they don't
Yeah,
see
yeah.
what we see.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's that's always been like a cheesy thing that he did in every movie, Dr. Loomis, but that's part of his iconic character status. That's what he always does. He's pure evil. It's like, yeah, we get it, like, but that's what he does. But when
All
Tommy
right.
Fle yeah,
We get the
but
call back. Let's go. Let's
yeah,
move forward with the story here.
and I think that was a big problem I had with Tommy because is it Anthony Michael Hall who plays the role? He's another actor I really liked as a kid because he was in Edward Scissorhands as the boyfriend of Winona Ryder. He was in The Breakfast Club.
Yeah.
He was in Weird Science. I've just always liked him. He's a cool dude, and I don't think he was brilliant in this film. I really don't. I think the mob part, I don't know what could be changed, but again, I think that's what took me out of the movie because up until then, I was on the edge of my seat, just sort of like afraid, worried. I was like, right, we're going over here now. We're going to talk about the mob thing, and it kind of went a different way. And I was like, okay, I get it, but I'm not here for like I don't know. It just kind of it took me out of the
Right.
movie.
As I said, it took us. Oh, here we go. What up, Aaron? How you doing,
What's
buddy?
up, my people?
What's up, my
What's up,
peeps?
man?
What's up, bro?
How you doing, man?
What's
What's
going
up,
on?
man? What's going on?
Is that your
I
your
I'll try
American
I
impression?
oh, do you want me to do an American, thing? I don't know, like, I don't know how do Americans talk? "How you doing, boy?" When they like say, "Hi there, you come from around the way? We don't like your kind of people around here."
Oh my god. That was to like screen capture that moment and just put that out as a promotion for for the live
Thank
streams.
you, man.
Hello, boy. How are you?
How you doing, boy?
um, yeah. One thing, going back just to kind of put closure on my thoughts of that mom mentality hospital scene is like you said, eh, that character Tom.
Before you c the way I would fix that, and you're gonna say this is wrong and this is harsh, it cuts to the scene with they're in the hospital. I would literally put cut. Then I would go to the scene where it cuts to, Laurie's niece in the car, and they go to the house where Michael's house, where the 2 gay guys live, and
Yeah.
they're in the car driving there. I would cut that hospital scene out, so it'd go from the park with the scene, and then I would cut to that with the house. I'd cut that whole scene out, and I would love the movie. That's how I feel because I think
So
it just
just
it
cut the whole
that's that
scene
yeah,
out.
yeah, I would cut the whole that's unless it was yeah, that's for me, like, I because I just didn't think it took me out of the fear, right? Because I was on the edge of my seat, and then we kind of went away from it for 20 minutes, and I was just like, "What's going on?" Like, and then we went back to it, and I was like, that I'd lost that anxiety and the sitting on the edge of my seat sort of feeling, and you had to build
Yeah.
it back up again. But
Well,
that's
I think what it happens there is they change like the integrity of what these people are trying to do. Yes, they're trying to find, Michael Myers and and take him down, but like they become so blind with rage and they just I don't know. Like
I think
again, like I like that aspect of it, but it was just so quickly done.
because it's a small do you know what I think would have worked better? I think if they didn't go to the hospital and make a big fuss there, I think the Halloween movies always work better when it's close proximity and it's a smaller people. So if he was at the bar, it should have been a group of people going, "Oh, this guy's crazy, he's an idiot, he's a drunk."
Yeah.
And it should have been the 3 or 4 people that are the older generation that were there. They should have gone as the mob, and there should have been about 6 or 7 of them. They should have gone and looked for Michael. There may be the odd cop car come and help and blah blah blah. It should have been a smaller, tight knit thing because once it broke out into hysteria, I think it lost that magic. And I think you could have had scenes between Tommy and Michael, and there would have been a scene where you're like they're alone now, and it's like shit, what's he gonna do? And
Right.
it could
Well,
have
I
been
mean,
more.
even kind of like that, like you said, where I thought you were going when you said like take that part out of the movie.
Mm, mm.
It almost, I think, just the way the story was being told there, which goes right back to the director. instead they had it just in this little nugget of the movie. Like I almost would have enjoyed seeing like that separated throughout the whole movie, like that
Yeah,
starting
yeah, yeah, yeah,
at the
exactly. If it
beginning
was
and
if
then
it
and then cutting back to that, then having more of your,
Yeah, if
suburban
it if it if it
story.
yeah, if
Yeah.
it yeah, that's I think it's more the way it was done. And do you know what? I'm gonna say something that probably upset people, but that's what I do. You're the nice guy and I'm the evil guy.
Oh, are they are
Um,
are are they gonna get film triggered?
yeah, and I don't know if I should say it, but I think it's pretty obvious why they put that in because this movie was supposed to come out last year or the year before even.
Last year, yeah.
And was that not when the issue happened in Washington with January? And that was supposed to come out later on in the year. And to me, that mob mentality thing was kind of created from what happened in Washington. And I think it was trying to say that
Are you talking about where they stormed the White House?
that's what I believe. That's
Yeah.
how that scene came about. I don't
Well, that
believe
that
it.
that scene was shot. Was it shot? But I feel like that movie was filmed before then.
Do you think so? Because
Yeah,
that's kind. Because
'cause
when I'm
that
watching,
happened this past winter. Like, it happened in 2021.
yeah, because as I was
That
watching
movie was
it,
supposed to
that's
come out last 2020.
oh, I see. Because that's what I was thinking about when I was watching it. That was the thing I was thinking about, and I was wondering if that was what they were trying to say. Because what I got from that was you can storm and rage against something that you think is the right thing to do, but in the end, something tragic always comes of it, and that's what resulted in this movie with that guy they thought was Michael Myers. And I think again, that's what I'm saying. That's
Well, yeah,
it's a
that's life imitating art. Yeah.
yeah, and I think that's a whole new ballpark for a Halloween movie. It's a completely different thing. That's why I mean it takes it away from what we was over here and we're over here now. So it's I think I understand why they did it, but it comes back down to the execution of how it was done. I think that's all.
Yeah, the execution is why I'm on the fence about that entire
Yeah.
hospital scene. Again, a lot of people hate it, but I think there's a nugget of good concept in there.
Yeah,
So
I'm gonna do an edit of Halloween Kills
oh,
and
you could
Halloween Ends and edit and just cut that out, and you'll be like, "Wow, this is such a cool slasher movie." It's just pure Michael.
uh, another thing that I particularly was on the fence about was, Big John and Little John.
Oh, mate, no, I love them.
Oh, well, okay, so did I, but to me, that took me out of the movie more than the hospital scene did. Not
Really?
not because not because of the concept, not because, of the low-hanging fruit of, like, their sexuality or anything
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that,
yeah.
but just the way that they were communicating seemed very theatrical, like stage play. Like, it didn't seem cinematic to me. It just seemed like I was watching a play right then. Does that make
Yeah,
sense?
yeah, yeah, I know where you're coming from. I know where you're
It
coming from, yeah.
I mean, it was funny. It had some good laughs in it. Oh, and that's another thing I do like is the humor in this movie. It was I enjoyed the humor pretty well. I
Little
thought it was
John, Big John,
yeah.
Little John,
See, they were
Big John.
great, but just the communication between them.
I didn't want them to die. I know you know that it's obvious that everyone is gonna die, but not for that, "Oh, it's gay guys, you can't kill gay guys," and everything. It's just like, again, we discussed this before about the firefighters and everything. We do not watch these movies and analyze it like, "Oh my god, that's an Asian man," or "That's a" it's just a slasher movie, we watch it for
Right.
fun, so don't take it serious, people, but I
Well,
didn't want them to die, not because again, because I just like the characters, and it's the same with the old couple at the beginning, and I know that they've got to die because it's what Michael does. But when you just see them and you think, "Oh, don't hurt them. They're like just sweet, innocent old people," or but because of that, he's gonna just go psycho, and he does. Boy, does he.
oh, sorry. I didn't mean to do that.
Yeah, boy, does he.
Did you
But
see what I posted today
yep, I think it's
about
yeah, that's just stupid. Are we talking about the thing about people complaining it's homophobic? Grow up,
yeah.
people.
Yeah, it's so ridiculous. I think they're just trying to get a reaction out of us now.
I'll be honest, yeah. I think Michael Myers should kill gay people, lesbians, trans, straight,
He's an
Caucasians,
equal
Asians,
opportunity
black.
murderer. Yeah.
He's a psychopath. That's what he does. Don't take it like don't think us people are watching this and thinking, you know,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's a very good point, Aaron. Michael McDonald played Little John, was on Mad TV for years. Yeah, he played Stewart, and so stage play for the skit fits his bill. Yeah, absolutely. And that's where my mind was going. Like it's I expect that from him. But at the same time, it just kinda took me out of the movie a little bit, like,
Yeah.
okay,
That's
like
the you know, it's the one I know it's like because again, yeah, but this is what's great with us 2 doing videos because I feel the way you feel about that about the hospital scene, so we've got contrasting views, and I think that's a
yeah,
good thing because 'cause we've both got our own, like, visions of how we think it should be. Because I don't see it that way, the way you see that, and you don't see the hospital scene that way, and I think that's a good
right.
thing. But that's for me, that scene with those 2, and then he laid them out on the floor like the photo, I was so upset,
Yeah,
bruv.
that l I love that. That was actually 'cause well, we'll get to his
I
kills in
just
a
thought
little
it was
bit, yeah.
sad. I just thought it was so sad, and I know they explain it's like he's got the mind of a child and everything, so that's why he done it, and it makes sense that he did that, but I think
That
they
was
they they captured that nicely, like we s
that was his art, like, yeah, it was the first time I think I've seen Michael do it. This movie, Michael was an artist.
yeah,
He
that's
did a lot of art pieces with his victims. I wanna quickly, Ramon, if you don't mind, go back to
yeah.
what I like real quick because I just don't know why we didn't even talk about it. The kills in this movie are freaking amazing. They were brutal. They were uh, clever. When the woman gets the little fluorescent light stuck in her neck, and you can hear the blood swirling through the tube. Oh my god!
Do you know what? I'm
And
gonna
then sh
say it.
and then he keeps his victims live long enough so they can watch him murder like
Oh
his
my
their
god.
loved ones when
Oh
he's
my
stabbing the
god.
knives in her
On the
husband's
tape
back.
on the table.
Yep.
That's gonna go down as one of the best, most brutal kills ever.
Yeah,
That
it
'cause
was so good.
that was extra. That to me, that's why I was saying to you, it's got that feeling of Rob Zombie. That's a Rob Zombie sort of thing to do.
Yeah.
That's not a normal director's sort of direction. That's a director's like, "Yeah, what would Rob Zombie do in this position?"
So can
He would leave the camera on, go back and get a knife, and then stab again, go back, get another one. I mean, that's
right.
pushing it, and that I love that because that's again I don't look at it because I'm a psychopath and want someone to do that. It's just this is the fun of this character and hack and slash. That's what it's about.
Aaron White, that guy was a damn pincushion. Yeah. Yeah, he was, man.
Weren't he just? Poor sod.
Would it be
That poor old man.
would it be blasphemy to say that I kind of think that they took some inspiration from Rob Zombie's
Yeah,
Halloween? I mean,
yeah,
I
100%.
I think that's completely safe to say, just like you said, with the brutal kills, the distorted mask, I think they
I think
plucked just a few ideas out of there.
the one way you can prove that just by sitting here and talking is if Rob Zombie never made those movies, would that have still happened in this film? I don't think so. I think there
Right.
would have been gruesome kills. Don't get there would have been gruesome kills because that's what they do. There's no way whoever the director would have gone, "Oh, let's just push it that bit further." I don't think they would have done that.
Right, because this wasn't just murder. This wasn't just like,
No.
you're dead. This is I'm torturing you. I'm gonna
Yeah.
keep you alive long enough so you can watch me torture them. Yeah,
My sister was like, "That is so disturbing." And at that time, I think I was on chat. I was like laughing my arse off because I don't look at it. I don't take these seriously. I don't look at this and think, "Oh my god, there's really a guy on a table and he's really doing." I think it's funny because it's goofy. I know it's supposed to be scary, but to me, I watch it and we watch these and it's like, I wonder how crazy you can go. Is he gonna like then chuck off his head and throw it at the wall? And you're like, what are you? It's crazy. It's absurd crazy. But that's
Ramon, have you talked to a doctor lately?
what do you mean?
It's
I just sound a bit far, a bit
Yeah,
much.
no, I'm just messing with you. You're like,
Oh,
"No, my sister was scared, but I was laughing. I was having a great time." Yeah,
yeah.
no, I was just being silly with you.
It's because I don't take like it's do you know what it is? It's because my favorite of all of these growing up was um Jason Voorhees in Friday the 13th. In one of the I think it's the second movie. It's the second or third movie. There's near the intro of the film, there's a girl at a bus stop in the middle of nowhere near a forest, and she's just sitting there waiting for a bus. There's nothing around. There's no warning. There's no music. She just gets a banana and she opens up banana to eat a banana, and her axe just goes straight through her head. There's no warning. Like, and I bursted out laughing watching that. And I know you shouldn't, but that's what I find so great. That's what I love about horror. That's what I love about horror because I think it's a laugh of fear. That's why I do it.
Yeah.
It's a laugh of it's a nervous
Yeah,
laugh.
it's like when a dog sees you, a dog will wag its tail. But if a dog is being like pulled, like if a anaconda gets a hold of it and is being pulled by a snake,
It's
it will also wag its tail. It's an
it's a shock.
excitement thing.
Yeah, yeah, it is, and that's what I get when I watch these horror films. It's like I laugh because I'm nervous, and it's more of a it's shock. It's shock, like, I mean, he's stabbing a dude over a table over and over again. Like, what? Like, that is psycho. That's psychopath stuff, and that's why I laugh, because they've put that on film, and it's like they've took that to the studio and said, "Here, guys, this is what we want to put out in the theaters." Like, that must have caused a meltdown for the execs seeing that.
Yeah,
But
probably.
but yeah, yeah, you're right. The kills were. What was the best kill in the entire film?
Oh, that one was pretty good. I really liked the fluorescent light through the neck. Yeah, I'm gonna have to say just that whole sequence right there, that one that we're talking about specifically, where because they're both back to back. He stabs her in the throat with the fluorescent light. You hear the blood swirling down the tube, and then he pulls her aside and makes her watch him as he stabs her husband repeatedly in the back, as Aaron White said, and used him as a damn pin cushion. So,
I've got
what about yours?
the boyfriend in the back of the car who was dressed as the nurse. The knife straight through the eye, and he went straight up. He
Oh
was like,
yeah. See, you laughing. This is why I asked you if you've talked to a doctor lately, because you're literally.
no, because he's strangling him from the back, and he's like, "Yeah, I've got Mikey. I've got him. I've got him." No, you ain't, bro. It's Michael Myers. You're not gonna kill him. And the blade goes straight through his head. Oh man, that's so funny.
Oh, oh my goodness, you're losing it on live television.
That's yeah, but that's again. This comes from that side of me comes from watching Jason, watching Elm Street. I mean, Freddy was always goofing around when he shouldn't be. You know what I
Right.
mean? It was part of his manner, and just I don't know. But yeah, I think that was, and the one with the girl, it was his girlfriend, wasn't it, who played the doctor, and
Yeah.
Michael kicks the door, she blows her head off.
Yeah. Yeah. What, didn't he open the door? Is that what it was? He opened the
Yeah,
door and she's holding a gun and
yeah,
she
she's
accidentally
shooting at the
shoots.
window. Yeah, yeah, and she puts her hand over here to shoot again, and he kicks the door, and she blows her own head off. I mean, that's so funny.
I,
That's so funny. Oh,
I wonder if Michael just like sat back and was like, "Oh, oops, well that was easy. All right,
that's
score."
what I'm trying to say. Like, when they were making this, that's what I'm saying. They know how silly that's so silly. Like, but yeah, it's that sort of. That's what I mean, because it goes from that scene and then straight afterwards. That's what I'm saying. When he's actually killing people, I didn't find that scary as much. The old couple I did, but the one in the car and everything was more just brutality for the slasher fans like that,
Yeah,
like the knife in the head and the shooting. It's just more goofy, but yet straight after it is the scene when they go to everyone else and Tommy and that come to the park, and it's got the walking scene with a slow breathing, and it goes from goofy slasher to just silent walking, and that's what scared me more, because
yeah.
that was more realistic of someone that's just walking you down to get you. That's scary to me.
Now,
That's really scary.
going back to that car part, the the character that survived, from the first movie,
Yep,
um, wasn't that a mirrored kill or attempt to kill? Like in the 1978 movie, when didn't he reach in the car and like grab her by her hair in that movie?
that's
And
right.
they recreated that for this one, but she
Oh
actually
yeah, of
dies in this one.
course, of
Yeah,
course.
I thought that was a cool
Oh,
aspect.
she don't have much luck, does she?
No, maybe you should stop being in cars
Yeah, but
when
that's what I'm trying to say. It's like, let's look logically. Yeah, that's me or you as a youngster. Me and you are a doctor or whatever, working in a hospital. Just escaped Michael Myers. He tried to pull me. I tried to pull my head out of a window of a car, and I escaped. 40 years later, I'm going to go to a park and try and find him at midnight.
right.
No,
Yeah.
no, I wouldn't go. No.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up because going back to like on the fence here, there's a lot of suspension of disbelief of what and how this would work. Like, why would somebody like, even if somebody or even a crowd of people are like, yeah, evil dies tonight, we're gonna take him out. They're literally bringing everybody. Hey, listen, I know you have major PTSD and you're scared to death of Michael Myers and have been for 40 years, but why don't we go get in the car with me and let's go look
I think
at
that's
a
kind of
dark
why I was
park?
saying that's kind of why I was saying I think it needed to be a very, very small, like, if it was like Tommy, maybe one other person or 2, maybe 2 or 3 people, like,
Yeah,
overall, I would buy it because it would be like Tommy saying, "Come on, guys, I need to do this," and one of the guys is, "Oh, I don't know. All right, I'll come with you," and then maybe another one, "Yeah, that's it." But when you've got like a big group of people, it kind of takes away that, like you've just said, it takes away that. Well, you wouldn't do that. Like, if there was 10 of us, let's put it in realistic terms. If there was 10 of us and 10 of us, right, Michael's over there, all 10 of you, you're all going to go? No way. You might get 1 or 2 people, but
right.
there's no way all of you are going to go because
No.
people have got common sense.
Yep.
What, you know, um,
Uh,
I can't, I can't believe I was laughing at people dying.
you-
See? Yep. I've got problems.
it's okay, buddy. We're here. I'm here to help you, or join you. I don't know.
You're
You
so
had me. You
funny.
had me laughing pretty good too. Um, One thing that now that we brought up that hospital scene again, there's one thing that I was thinking while watching this movie when like they're all like running like from room to room searching for Michael Myers, and then they're all running up the stairs, and they're all running down the stairs. It reminded me of like one of those old TV sitcom
Caper
bits.
shows, yeah, he's over there and everyone runs this
Right,
way.
right.
It's
Like
over there.
you see them all go from like
Yeah,
one door to the next, and then in the
yeah.
background, the person they're chasing comes out of another door and then zigzags to another door, and you see them kind of crisscrossing. It's a comedic bit, and when I was watching that, that's what it reminded me of.
I think as well, on that scene with the hospital, I don't think they explored enough maybe onto the patient that was labeled as Michael, because it was like a mental health thing. I think they could have
Yeah,
capitalized a bit more on using that. I think because when you really look at it, it's quite sad. Like, he's a dude who's escaped from an asylum or whatever. He's a mental patient, so that's scary. And the fact that he was an innocent guy and decided to take his own life, they could have maybe made that a bit more of an impactful scene. I know they made it violent and everything the way he went out, but they could have made it a bit more like sad in terms of like, oh my god, like, this is what this
yeah.
mob has
It
caused. They've
goes
caused this.
it goes
Uh,
back to them not spending enough time on it. It's funny,
Yeah,
Ramon. I'm going
yeah,
to interrupt
yeah.
you here real quick because
Yeah, go on, man.
Aaron White was made a comment, and like he was commenting on what I was talking about, the bit with the people running through the doors, and like crisscrossing each other. And then you started talking about the guy with mental health, and I brought up the comment, and I realized, oh, that's probably not appropriate placed here.
Looney Tunes. Yeah,
You said
it's, yeah, which
and
is
you're
true,
talking
yeah.
about the
Mental health, but
seriousness
yeah,
of mental
it's
health. I'm like, oh,
yeah.
maybe I should take that down.
Yeah, no, but Looney Tunes, yeah, it did kind of, reflect that with, like, the running around in circles and,
Yeah,
um,
but I know what you mean when it comes to that character. I mean, again, that we've beaten this one into the
but I
ground,
think
but
that's I think good or bad, I think it is, you're right, it's the divisive part of the movie. And I think in general, I think most people, whether they liked it or not, thinks maybe that whole section just could have been done a bit different, and it would may have changed the movie a bit more because I think they were onto something with the mental health thing. And if they would have made that a lot more sad, it would have. I think the whole mob mentality impact would have been better because
yeah,
you would have been like, shit, this is what could happen. Like,
yeah.
if you push so hard because you want to believe something, disaster happens at the end of it, and it's not really the person that the thing that you're chasing after them, you might not get it and you hurt someone else, and that's what happened in that. And I think they could have capitalized a bit more on that, I think.
Well, and yeah, you're absolutely correct. And more aesthetically speaking, one of the biggest issues I have with that part is the fact that that guy looks nothing like the height, size, or width, or anything of Michael Myers.
That's what I mean.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I wish they would have brought back like another guy that's played Michael Myers before in another movie, and like had him play that
Oh,
role.
yeah, yeah,
That
yeah,
would have
yeah.
been cool.
Yeah, just for like that would have been fucking amazing.
Right.
Sorry, yeah, that would have been cool. Yeah,
That would
yeah,
have
yeah.
been a nice little change up there. But okay, so on the fence. Another thing that I am on the fence about in this movie, and I'm really curious to talk with you about it, is the ending.
I hated the ending.
How the movie
I've
ends.
got a lot sorry, my apologies.
The
Yep, sorry, go on.
well, because I really liked the ending to this movie. Hold on. Hold on, Ramon.
I'm joking.
Oh, hold on. I
Yeah,
gotta
yeah, go on.
he is film triggered. Oh, geez. No, because I actually really did like just Michael Myers coming back, taking everybody down, headed back to his room. She just happens to be there and he takes her down. It's like it was brutal. It was brutal. Excuse me. And the thing I didn't like about it, why I'm on the fence about it, is after my excitement, after the movie was over and I'm walking out, I'm walking towards the car and I'm like, you know what? Oh, there's a lot that didn't make sense about this. There was a whole bunch of suspension of disbelief that I just cannot wrap my head around when it comes to him coming back. And I'm not even talking about him coming back from the 6 gunshot wounds and the uh, being stabbed by the knife and beaten with a pipe and all these things. I'm not talking about him coming back from
I
that.
think I
I'm
think
talking
that's
about when he went upstairs, he had to go through an entire like police force, just the survivors, neighbors, we're all just
and
powwowed
all
down
those
there.
people there that are watching the main street where he was laying on the floor, everyone's watching it, and then
Right.
he just managed to get up, kill all of these people.
Without a fuss, without any noise, without anybody screaming, without anything. It's just like maybe he went through
No,
the back door. I don't know.
I
Like
think
something happened weird.
let's explore both of those things. I think the first that's what truly threw me away from the movie was the fact that he got up again, and I think maybe that fight scene, maybe it should have happened, and I don't think he should have been put down and somehow I don't know how. Maybe if there wasn't enough that many, maybe if there was like 6 or 7 people attacking him, and they got him down, and then he managed to get up and kill them all, and then go to the house, and there's no police, but you know what I mean? Like a smaller knit
Right.
group of people. But because he was stabbed in the back of his back of the neck and the head and everything, well, he's dead. But he wasn't. He got up, and that's what has thrown me with new these new movies because, to my knowledge, Halloween 1, Michael Myers is a man. Halloween 2018, he's been in a mental asylum for 40 years.
Still a man.
This he's still a man. This one, he's just a man. He
Right.
gets killed, put on the floor, he's dead, but then he gets up. So if he gets up, that means he's immortal. If he's immortal, why would he sit in a cell for 40 years? Makes no sense to me.
Right. I want to use that to segue into
Yeah, that's I know a lot of people have
what we
probably
don't
said this
like.
sort of thing, but it's kind of a if if he's immortal, it's that continuity. You use that a lot, continuity. I think if he's immortal, he's got to be that all the
There's
way
your
through.
answer. There's your answer.
He only got up because Buster Rhymes wasn't there to keep him down. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Come
Uh,
on, mother mogul. Yeah, yeah.
well, man, and I'll tell you what, man, this is one of the biggest things that like, and it was one of my fears when I saw the trailer, and they say it in the trailer. Laurie Strode says he's more than just, or a man wouldn't survive that. He's transcending, and when she said that, I'm like, oh no, what are you doing? What are you guys doing?
I-
Like,
I- In other words, for me, if he's going to be the immortal monster, being the Freddy Krueger kind of immortal dream demon, whatever, you've got to do that in the continuity of Halloween 1, the 2018, and this. It's got to keep that. If one
yeah,
of them strays away from that, because I think 2018, I didn't think 2018 was a brilliant film, but I think it's a really good Halloween movie.
yeah,
But it was serious, so it was her afraid. She's this crazy old lady. She's built up her house and made all these traps and everything. It was done more of a realistic term. When you've gone into this one, yeah, he's come out and he's hacking and slashing everyone. That's cool. That's what he does. But when he gets killed, but then he's not, I'm like, well, the other one don't make sense now because of what I said. Like it don't really add up. So I don't know. I'm
yeah.
a
I
bit like
see.
that, but I don't understand.
Yeah, I am. As I said before, I'm all about like, messing with mythologies and
Mm.
things like this. And I thought this movie was doing really well. And then they went down and tried to do this transcendence thing so literal, just to give us a lame reason of why he would survive something like that, you
Yeah.
know? And I would rather just not even have that line in the movie and just have it be a big question mark. But the fact that they said it, the fact that they put it out there, they're telling the audience, hey, there might be something more to this Michael Myers guy. And like you
Mm.
said, like if he is that, well, okay, you said why hasn't he done that in 40 years, right? Like why hasn't he done this? And I think the way they try to explain that is she said he he transcends the more he kills, and he was in a very secured area, and he only did the killings from the first movie, which was like three, right? Three killings.
Mm. Mm.
So he was kind of like stifled. But then when the other doctor in the 2018 movie who released Michael Myers, he released him so he started doing all those killings in the last movie. So that's what started his transcendence
Mm.
into this whatever creature that they're trying to make him out to be.
Yeah, I think it just kind of. I think personally, I think it should have just been Tommy and maybe that group who were attacking him. And I think maybe someone should have got like Tommy should have got a few stabs on him or whatever. And then I think it should have been Michael sort of down on his knees kind of thing, like, "Oh Christ, he's gonna die," and
Yeah,
then he gets up again. But to take such a brutal, like, knife and then gunshots and everything, it just took me out of the because I thought it was more on the serious sort of like we're trying to play like the more realistic, he's just a man, and I
right.
think they should have stayed with it's just a man
Yeah,
who's crazy.
I 100% agree
So
because,
that's the only thing. That's it
well,
really.
taking him out of that grounded, level, that he's just a human, that takes away the boogeyman. That takes away
Mm,
what the
mm,
boogeyman is. The boogeyman was a man that would show up into a suburban neighborhood and take out your friends, your family for no other reason than just whatever his main goal is, which in this
mm.
movie they're trying to make it go back to his room or his house or whatever. Um, that's what's scary because he is just a man. That man can live right across the street. He could be looking at you or me right now. That's what makes Michael Myers
Do you
scary.
do you know what it is, right? I don't know if it's everyone's different in what they like in movies, but there's something in this, and it reflects on a lot of the films I watch. And I know this is completely off subject, but it's a similar thing. You've seen the movie 300 with Gerard Butler,
Yeah, Zack Snyder film. Yeah,
right? I really like the movie, but I don't for the simple reason the story again, that story is about 300 Spartans and it's supposed to be a true story. So when I started watching that movie, I'm basing it on the historical thing of it's a whatever. But then halfway through, there's like gigantic elephants or whatever. So I'm like, well, it's a fantasy now then.
right.
So that's the thing. That what I'm trying to say is, I need to. But like when I'm watching something, I need to know like, are we going fantasy or are we trying to keep it like the same thing with Michael? Is it a real dude or are all the movies just a fantasy? Because if it's all a fantasy, I'll view the movie as like that, and I'll just go right, cool, fantasy. He can have his arms chopped off, he'll still live. But when you're trying to keep it realistic, and then you drop fantasy, and I'm like, I get confused when I'm watching movies. Like when I watched 300, it was the same thing. I like that movie, but
Well,
you know what I'm saying? I get confused
Well,
with it
they
all.
did the
Like
same thing
what?
with Freddy Krueger. They kind of it's the Freddy 2, Freddy's Revenge.
That's true.
When they pull him out of in from the dream world into the real world, or he kind of like manifests
That's
himself
right. That's right.
into
Yeah.
that world. What was crazy is like, okay, well, Freddy is now in this world,
Yeah.
but in this world, he's not supposed to have powers. Like that's what's supposed to make him powerless. But he
Yep.
has all the powers and can do all the same shit, and then he can
That's.
just jump in and out
I
of
think
dream
that's.
world into real world. Yeah,
I think that's the problem I have with a lot of movies. It's not like again, like this Halloween, it's not like I dislike the movie, but I can't, oops, I get confused by the continuity and I can't take things too seriously when they change the vibe of it, if you know what I mean. It's either like, he's either the fantasy character the whole way through and it's a
yeah,
fantasy film, or it's going on the realistic view. You
yeah.
can't just have, in other words, you wouldn't start off um, Michael Myers, right? He gets shot 100 times in the first one, but then in the second movie, he's just a real man. It wouldn't make sense.
Right.
It just wouldn't make sense. You've got to keep that same, and that's what it is. It kind of threw me with that, and that part at the end, as I say, just left me a bit like, well, I don't get what is he then?
Yeah.
I don't.
And I don't know. The route that they're going with that specific aspect of if Michael Myers is a man or something more, that's going to be. I would imagine right now, again, not seeing the third movie that the fourth movie that's going to come out next year. That would be one of the biggest missteps with this character because you're literally. I mean, they've done it before, and that's always been a big misstep. Then like when in H2O when he fucking gets decapitated. I've never seen Resurrection. Is it supposed to be the same dude? Is that how he come? How does he come back?
So you don't know what happens to him.
No.
Right, okay, so at the end of H2O, he's by the car for people
Right.
that have not seen. Jamie Lee Curtis drives a car down the thing, he goes through the window screen, he gets trapped behind a tree. Michael's there going like this, like, help me,
Yeah.
and then she chops off his head, and you think, well, that's the perfect ending to the story. Michael Myers is dead. Resurrection begins. Jamie Lee Curtis is in a mental hospital, and Michael goes there, and you think, well, how can Michael be alive? And two nurses are talking. And what they're doing is talking about what actually happened. And in the end of H2O, there was a police officer that was at the house, the big house or the mansion she had.
Yeah.
And what they're saying is happened is Michael smashed the guy's larynx and put the mask on this thing. And that's what the ambulance took. They took this cop dressed as Michael. So when he was on the thing, he was trying to reach out, but he couldn't speak because his larynx was. And I go,
Oh.
oh, okay. I go, right, cool. But it still doesn't really make sense because the guy was all like, give me your hand, like the brotherly, sisterly. That doesn't make sense. Why would a random cop do that to a woman that he doesn't know?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I kind of like,
It was a it was a paramedic that he did that too. Aaron White
I
said,
kind
yeah.
of, I like the, um, I love H2O. I saw that at the theaters when I was a kid, or not a kid, 18, 19. And it's a bit goofy, it's a bit silly, but that was the last, other than some of maybe the Rob Zombie ones I quite like, but I quite like H2O because it was still in that 90s. It just had that vibe to it.
Yeah.
Flipping, I love Josh Hartnett, man. He's just such a dude. And I quite like that one. And as cheesy as that ending was, with him doing all of that, and it's what they've done a million times with her cutting his head off. That was to me
That
that's
was
the
it.
end of the story, and I was all right with that. I
Well,
was actually all right with that.
a lot of people say that the fourth one was like the real end to Michael Myers. Like they should have just been done
I'm
after the
trying to
fourth one.
think. Number 4, is that with the young girl who can't speak?
That's either
Let me have
4
a
or
quick
5.
look.
I can't remember.
I think number. Wait a minute, because
It,
she's in. I think she's in.
4 is the return of Michael Myers.
Yeah, I think that's when that young girl is. Yeah, you're right. No, yeah, number 4 is the last one. Yeah, that's when the young girl was first in it, and she fights. She comes up against him. It's number 5 where she doesn't speak, I
Yeah.
think.
Okay.
Yeah, and that one's a bit. I mean, I know a lot of people hate that one. I dislike 5, but it's not my most hated because I've seen Resurrection, and Resurrection's just not a very. It's just one of them. Like,
Okay. You're
it's just
there.
like that.
You
Yeah, it's
exist.
okay. Yeah, yeah. I mean, you could still watch it and go out as cool, but it is what you expect. It's just, yeah, like
Uh,
that. Really, it's just not that great.
Sorry, this light is blinding me.
One of the only things I love about Resurrection is it's got one of my favorite American ladies in it, Katie Sackhoff, who was in Battlestar Galactica, the blonde girl
Oh yeah.
who played. I love her to bits, man. I don't know. I've always. She's one of those. Like, I know she does a lot of TV stuff, but she's the kind of woman I would love to see, or one of the only women I could see playing like a Helen Ripley alien character. She's one of those actresses I just like. I just like her. I just think she's awesome. And she's in The Mandalorian as well. But yeah, she's in Halloween Resurrection, and she gets her head chopped off, which is a funny scene actually.
All right. Before we go down too big of a rabbit hole here.
Yeah, sorry.
Oh no, is Is there anything else you wanna talk about on what you don't like about this movie?
Yeah, I mean, in general, main things was I wasn't mad on the hospital scene, Michael Myers being immortal or not being immortal, and then we were saying about how did he get from being on the floor into the house past everyone. I
Right.
didn't one thing I did like, I know it's a horrible thing to say, I'm glad he took out Laurie Strode's daughter because I hated her since the first movie.
You're not the
Bro,
first person I heard say that, yeah.
she because
I think it's important that he took her out.
I just hated her, bro. I hated her because Halloween 2018, it's all she does is complain and not believe Jamie Lee Curtis the
Yeah.
entire movie. In this one, all she does is try and convince her daughter that everything's okay and there's nothing to worry about. I'm like, dude, like, what?
And why
Like,
the hell is she wearing a Christmas sweater anyway, by
yeah,
the way?
my sister brought that up.
Yeah, I
I said,
know,
"That's
you when your
and I said,
sister said that, I was like, I
that's another reason Michael should kill her."
yeah, why the hell is she wearing a Christmas sweater? And
Great
she might
act don't get me wrong, Judy Greer who played the
Oh,
ca
yeah, I
she's
love her.
amazing,
She's
she's
a
an amazing actress,
crush
but
of mine, yeah.
but yeah, I hated the actual character, but that's what I mean, this isn't against the actress, she's brilliant at that role, but I was just like,
Maybe in horror movies, like, wearing a Christmas sweater is like being on Star Trek with a wet red shirt. Maybe that's what it is.
yeah.
If you wear a Christmas sweater in a horror
That's
movie, you're automatically going to die.
We've not even got we won't go into it, but that's another thing we need to discuss at some point and do a show about is Star Trek. I don't know if you ever followed them or liked them, but,
Which one?
oh, there you go. That's something we should bring up at some point because
Okay.
I'm a fanatic for that anyway, so it's something
I'm
else
a
we
fan
can
of I'm a fan of the old TV series.
same. Yeah,
Alright,
so I'm just
cool.
saying it's something else we could just jump on at some
Yep.
point, but,
Alright, so I'm gonna take down to what we like. Before we jump into our grade here, I wanna what are some expectations you have for Halloween Ends? Uh, I'll come out of the gate with this one. What I wanna see happen because obviously that last scene, no matter its, suspension of disbelief issues that I have with it, the fact that he was able to quietly get into this house and kill Laurie's daughter, with a whole crowd of people outside. But it shows like he is like on an actual killing spree in this one. Like there's no focus. You're in his way, he's going to hurt you. And I kind of wanted to see this like go balls out, just I want to see him just be the scariest fucking thing. Maybe they try to burn down his house, and like now that they burn down his house, his focus is no longer getting to that house. It's just whatever. He'll go into every other house trying to find that room. Like I just want to see him become. If they're going to try to build up this more than a man thing, then take it up. Make him more than a man, but I hope he gets killed like a normal human
mm.
because I don't want to mess with that mythology, but I want to see maybe just like that intensity that he has at the end of this movie just continue. I expect the next movie just to be bop, 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 be like nonstop.
I think, to be honest, I think what same as you, that's what I would want to happen, but I still feel that they're gonna stick in another hospital type like there'll be something in it that takes away from what it is to try and make it something else. And that's I'm a bit worried now that they're gonna do something like that again, and it's gonna. I just want it to, like you say, I just want it to just start literally from that night in that house, kills the daughter, and just goes on a damn rampage,
Yeah.
and it ends up. What's Laurie Strode finds out about her daughter, which gives her more reason to want him dead. There's a reason now, and there's something that happens with those two, and they both die at the end of the movie. That's what I want them to do. I want it to be a thing where there's an end, and they're both done.
Well, Laurie Strode, she's definitely on her way. I mean, she kicked that one guy in the balls and busted out her stitches. Like just kicking somebody in the nuts took her down.
She died in Resurrection as well, by the way.
Oh, did she?
That's why there's no
Yeah, I've never
continuity.
seen
Yeah,
that
I
one.
mean that's what I mean at the beginning when Mikey goes to the hospital to get her. It's on a rooftop, and he's going to fall off, then she's going to fall off, and then he lets go of her, and she's like, "I'll see you in hell." And then she falls off. It's like
Maybe you think they'll bring that line back?
that would be funny.
Right. Yeah, but when it comes to Halloween Ends, I don't know what exactly to expect, besides just doing a full out massacre, like have them go out with a bang,
That's what I would like. Yep.
you know. But they're going to continue it after that. It's just a matter if it's going to be a reboot or so. Halloween ends resurrection. Like, okay, we're
Yeah,
going to bring
I
this
think it should
concept back,
just I think it should just be the end. That should be the end of the story, and that should be it forever. I don't think, and in 20 years' time, if someone does a remake, cool, whatever. But I
right?
think in terms of what this is, Laurie Strode, Michael Myers, that story, I think it should have it. I personally, yeah. If what would I want? Like you said, I just want it to just be out and out carnage and out and
Yeah,
out bloodshed. Of I want to be sitting there and me and you sitting there going, "Oh my god, I can't believe!" Like he chopped both his hands off and then he smashed the guy's head with both of his head. Like I just want it to be so grotesque and stupid that once it's over, we can come away and go, right, Mikey went out with a bang, and that's the end of the thing. And cool, I'm cool with that. That's all I want.
yep. I think we both agree on that. With that being said, I'm going to take off my banners here. What grade do you give this movie? What are your overall thoughts and your grade for this?
Well, I'm really, really harsh with my film grading, and it don't always go down too well. But just a quick reasoning for that. The reason I'm so harsh on my grading is that when I say a movie is an A plus or an A star or a 10 out of 10, I look at movies like The Godfather or the original Alien or something that is like Shawshank Redemption, like a movie that's
Yeah.
like top tier. So I can't then look at, I find it grading movies I find really difficult. So I'll say what I don't know. I don't know what to. I mean, I don't know what I'm going to give the movie. I think it was a good movie. I think if you're a Halloween fan, it's you've got to watch it. You may love it more than I did, but I just personally had problems with it, so I would give the movie a D.
Well, there were parts of it that weren't very good, though.
It could have been a lot better.
I didn't really like it.
Sorry,
There you go.
I'm sorry. And what
It's a
about you?
it's a D. That's the second movie you've given a D on these
I
live
was I was
reviews.
I was going to give it an E because, but then I think that's been a bit
Yeah, but
harsh. It's
Ramon loves the D. So okay, I'm glad you got that. All right. So it's funny. It's interesting to hear you say how you do your grading, how you compare movies, to like Godfather and
it's hard.
Shawshank
It's
Redemption.
so difficult. It's
Well,
so
because I
difficult.
don't. That's not how. And I actually had a little conversation with our friend Al Seward from Dark Side Reviews. Um, he was commenting on one of Rudy's posts, and yeah, Rudy said, "Oh, this movie's better than Endgame,"
Yeah, and
and
I said we're getting a divorce.
yeah, and Al came on. He's like, "Better than Endgame? No way, man! You can't do better than Endgame." And I said, "Well, I actually kind of agree with Rudy." And I hold on, but hear me out. What I said to him was, "Endgame was a better movie, but this is a horror movie. Its rewatchability is not the same for me. Like the rewatchability, I'd rather watch this movie more than Endgame just because of the kills and the slasher of it. Not because it's a better made movie,
I've got a counter for
but
that.
its rewatchability is better for me."
I've got a counter for that one. Are you ready?
Floor is yours.
The reason Endgame is better, yeah,
Mhm.
that's America's ass, bro.
Uh,
That alone,
that is America's ass.
yeah, that is America's ass. No, right. Looking at it from that perspective, yeah, you're right. If I was to sit and watch, if I could choose to watch any of those films now, yeah, I would probably watch Halloween Kills. I can understand.
Right. Because that's what he was saying. I'd rather watch this movie more than Endgame. He wasn't saying it was a better movie than Endgame.
That's why I find it so difficult to grade movies, like you say, because I'm grading it on. I grade movies as like I say, like I go Godfather or whatever I think is
Yeah.
like one of the best movies ever made. It's difficult because then if I say Godfather, I'd say flipping Halloween is not even in the same
Right.
ballpark. So it's hard for me to,
See, I don't think of it in that same
yeah,
realm.
I've
So
got to,
this movie specifically, I enjoyed it for what it was. Did it have its problems? Yes. Did it have, that I guess you'd call it pacing issues. The kills kind of kept the pacing, decent, but just that whole storyline with the mom mentality being in its own little enclosure and just like kind of a one and done thing. Yeah, it created some issues with me, and then also trying to change Michael Myers, mythology with specifically with is he more than a man? Stay away from that. That's icky. But I did enjoy it, and I might watch it tonight. I might go out here and just
Do you know?
pop
Do
it
you know
on.
what? Do you know
But
what? Maybe,
let me get
sorry,
my grade out here.
sorry,
So
sorry.
for all those reasons, I'm giving this movie a C plus.
It wasn't bad.
Well, there were parts of it that weren't very good,
It
though.
could have been a lot better.
There you go.
See, that's
There's
a
our
good
grades.
grade.
What were you gonna say, buddy?
I think with these, I think I'm definitely going to do once they're all out on Blu-rays and 4Ks or whatever. I'm definitely going to get a collection of them all and make an edited version of the film. Not just this one, but make one that's Halloween 1, some of Halloween 2, the original Halloween 2, then some of 2018, some of Rob Zombie's, and some of Halloween Kills, and some of Halloween Ends, because I think some of Rob Zombie's can fit into the 2018 and this one because of the way it was filmed and the way it was looked, especially the part with him being the kid. I think that should, for me personally, I think that should be part of Halloween, because I love that so much. And there is no, other than the first movie, which is about a minute and a half of him as a kid, we've never ever seen it ever again. So I think that should never be lost. But
you know what, man, to be honest with you, and I might piss some people off by saying this, so be prepared. Maybe you'll get film triggered.
I know what you're going to say.
No, you don't. You know.
Yeah, you do. You're going to say that you can say Zombies is better than the original.
Well, kind of. But not really. What I'm going to say is, in the continuity in my head, in the way my mind works, the way I look at the Halloween series as I know it, to me, Rob Zombie's Halloween is the first movie. 2018 is a continuation of that story in my head. Now,
If you look at it, I suppose.
Minus the whole sister thing. Yeah, there's
in modern
suspension
version,
of disbelief, but like I would love to see that Rob Zombie's version almost get the 1978 treatment. And like, anyway, I just love that character study, and that's why it's always going to be the number one.
Because that's what I'm saying. The more we think about it, the zombie one really does fit into the newer movies. Just the way the tone is, the way the kills are, the way Michael is. It's very, very much on that same tone as the new Michael. That's what I mean. It's in other words, if we watched Rob Zombie's one and then the next movie come out was Halloween Kills, no one would watch it and go, "Oh, this looks so different from the last one." It doesn't. It looks everything is the same. The tone, everything.
Well, except the dialogue, but yeah.
Yeah, well, okay.
The dialogue is very, very intense in Rob Zombies. All right, Ramon. Well, I think we've covered it, buddy. You feel good about it?
Yep,
you
very
confident
much
with your deed? All right, man. So anybody watching, if you want to check out Ramon on his channel, Hit or Miss TV, it's in the description below. He also joins me every week for Drive-By News at 12:30 p.m. It's on YouTube, it's on Twitch, and we also premiere on our group, Movie and Entertainment Talk. So, yeah, we'll see you guys, I guess, then. And until then, stay trigger happy, my friends. Peace.